conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She is a best-selling author and empowering authors to build influence, impact, and income by transforming their stories to high-quality books that grow authority, credibility, and visibility. No other than Miss Teresa Rodriguez.
Hello, Danielle.
Welcome back, Mr.
Thanks.
Rasta, to one of my podcasts. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, so Daniel, I'm a best-selling author, first published by Penguin Books for Fly Solo, 50 Best Places on Earth for Folks to Travel Alone. Then I wrote Body, Mind, and Solo that got me on the TEDx stage with over 1.6 million views. And then I've helped other people write their books. And so that's been my passion, so much so that I decided to start my own publishing company, as one does.
Yes, kudos for you, Mr. Rasa. Kudos for you. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. And today let's talk about finding your voice. Where is my voice? How writing your story can transform your life. So tell us, voice versus story. You talk about finding your voice as the key. Is the voice the teller or the table or the tale? How do you distinguish between someone's writing voice and their actual live voice on truth?
That is such a fantastic question. And the reason why is because people's voices can change. One of the things that I say when women travel by themselves is you can be whoever you want to be when you show up at that new destination, right? And
True.
that's one of the beautiful things about writing is you don't actually have to pack a bag or go to another city. You can create the voice that you want depending on what kind of mood you're in and what you want to accomplish. So, for example, if you just want to journal and just get your thoughts out on paper, just talking in your true voice about how you're feeling is a wonderful way to get the monkeys off your back and out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Mm-hmm.
wanted to share a part of your life that you think that's going to empower other people, that's when you put on the cap of expert. I went through this and I don't want you to go through this, so I'm going to share my story so you can learn from it. But then
Mm-hmm.
I've got this other voice, right? This voice of a fiction writer, that if you want to share your story or you have a story in you that's not true, it's not real, but you feel it brewing in you, you can start writing in a third person narrative. So you could write a science fiction book that might have some of your truth in it, but it's wrapped around different characters.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So the first hurdle, Mr. Raza, for someone starting the blank page, terrified or convinced that the story does not matter, what is the single most effective first prompt or mindset shift to get the words flowing?
First, I would say is what is your purpose? And that sometimes can feel really heavy. Like, wait, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what this big thing is supposed to be. So, what I suggest is just start writing. Write
Mm,
whatever comes out of your head and onto the paper. I also recommend using a pen or a pencil and a pad of paper. When you start doing that, your brain connects to your hand, which connects to your heart, and it really starts the words flowing. And I always say, find an instrument, just like a, a, a craftsman finds the correct tool. Find the pen or the pencil that really resonates with you. I always suggest going to bookstores or craft shops and trying out different pencils and trying out different pens and find one that when you write those words down, it really flows out. The ink flows or the pencil flows. For me, I actually use a pencil. It's a softer lead pencil. So when I start writing, everything flows really quickly out of my hand and onto the page. And the other thing is find paper that really speaks to you. Moleskin is what I use. I love having that nice cotton paper that's nice and soft that gets the words out. And some people really like to use yellow sheets with lined paper, and it's really what feels the best to get the words out.
mm-hmm. Definitely, yes. So, permission to write. Many people feel they need permission to tell their story. Who or what are they usually seeking permission from? And how do you help them to grant it themselves?
That is comes down to a place of, am I willing to shine my light?
Mm,
Am I willing to allow what is on the inside to shine on the outside? And the person that you need to ask permission is yourself. And usually it is a internal dialogue of, do I give myself permission to start to share this story? And you can use breathing techniques to get into your body and say, yeah, I give myself permission, and then start the writing process.
mm, yes. Definitely. So, the unreliable narrator of self. Well, I have personal myth and blind spots, are we? So, how does the physical act of writing help us become more honest narrators of our own lives and expose stories we've been telling ourselves that are not true?
Oh, well, that's the beautiful thing about actually writing on paper, because you are not stopping yourself. Like, for example, if you're typing on a computer, a lot of times you're like, oh, I just spelled dreamt wrong. So I'm going to go back and fix that. And so it stops the flow that's happening in your brain. When you're doing this on actual paper, it doesn't stop the flow. You're there. So what if you misspelled a word? Oh, maybe a picture pops up. Maybe you start drawing a Venn diagram of your life. Perhaps you start drawing flowers and ships and boats. It doesn't matter. It is the act of getting it out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And what do you got this? The painful chapter. So, how do you guide
Yes.
someone to write about trauma, shame, or deep regret in a way that is transformative rather than re-traumati- re-traumatizing? What is the
Yeah.
line between the therapeutic writing and creating a narrative for an audience, Mr. Asa?
I'm actually working with a client right now who is getting traumatized by some of the things that are on the news. So your question is very timely. You cannot force yourself, nor can you force another person to write about
Mm-hmm.
something that is traumatizing. If they're not ready, then don't push. If you're not ready, don't push yourself. There are other ways that the story can be told. For example, I went through very severe postpartum depression as well as suicidal ideations. I could not tell my story directly, but what I did is I wrote a science fiction book called Clothos that will be coming out in June. And what I did was wrap my story around other characters that are fiction. So sometimes a really great way to share your trauma or to get the trauma out is to narrate it as a third person and create a character that is not you.
Interesting, Miss Teresa. Interesting. So, the ordinary myth, a common objection is, but my life is ordinary. How do you help people to see universal, compelling themes, the resilience, love, loss, or growth in what they perceive as an ordinary story?
All of our lives are extraordinary. I heard something today that the chance of you being born was like one in gazillion trillion. It's not, it wasn't an accident. It's not ordinary. And finding gratitude is the first way that you can find the extraordinary in your life. So I suggest that people just start writing things that they're grateful for. What I do is I start with the letter A. What am I grateful for in my life that starts with A? Then B, and then C. And when you start that process, what happens is you're like, wow, I went on this picnic with some friends yesterday, and this butterfly landed on the cloth, And that moment was a reminder of how fragile and beautiful life is. And if you read authors like, um, well, there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest
There's a
Hemingway,
lot.
for example,
Yes.
he really captures the ordinary and the extraordinary. Just little bits of life that shine through in small pockets.
Yes. Totally, totally inspiring, Mr. Rasa. And does the story dictate from memoir, essay, poetry, or even a letter never sent? Or does
Mhm.
choosing from help shape and reveal the story? How do you match a person's voice to a vessel?
People come to writing with different ideas of how they're going to use this forum. Poetry can be a really powerful place. And the great thing about poetry is you don't have to really know how to write that well. You can take these snippets in your brain and write it down on a paper and then play with that. I love the idea of writing a letter, a love letter to oneself, a love letter to a parent that has passed, a love letter to the person that you thought you wanted to be, or even a love letter to something that really you struggle with, like money. Writing a letter to money and saying, I love you. I want you to come around. I'm sorry that I have been avoiding you and I use you as a weapon. So, writing, it does not necessarily need to just be a tool about you sharing your life. It could be a way to heal different parts of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Say to yourself, I love money. Please, money, money, come to me. Yeah.
When you think about, like, the relationship that most people have with money, it's kind of a dysfunctional relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
True.
don't have enough of it, and if you think about how we interact, if money was a person, how would we want to have this relationship with money? So one of the great things people can do is start having a relationship with money and write money love letters and, "Hey, money, thanks for coming by today."
Yes.
Or even
Money, thank you so much.
just even healing, right? So if there's a part of
Yes.
your body that is broken or in pain, you can write to that part of your body like, "Hey, lower back, I know you've been carrying a lot. I thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for carrying the upper part of me. I'm so grateful that you're connected to my legs, and I'm really excited about all the adventures that we're going to go on. Let me know how I can support you because you've been supporting me."
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Abstract Essay, because my guest today is Mr. Rasa. So power empowering answer. So thank you, Mr. Rasa. The transformation mechanism, life often feels like a series of disjointed events. How
Mhm.
does structuring experience to the beginning, middle, and the end in the story actually change our neural pathways of our understanding of past events?
That's great. What our brain is this neuroplasticity, right? This ball of gray matter. And one of the great things about our brain is that we can rewire it. And there are a lot of books that talk about how do we rewire our childhood. We can't necessarily change it, but what we could do is restructure it. And writing is a fantastic way of doing that. So for example, if you came from an abusive home and but you want to change the story in your head, it's not that you're
Mm,
making stuff up, but what you could say is, "Hey, this is the way I wanted my childhood to be, and so I'm going to focus on this," right? And write the story the way that you wanted your childhood to be and focus on that part. What's great about that, it's a wonderful way of healing generational trauma. And also, when you're raising a kid, you can, or a child, you can look at the way that you wanted to be raised through the essay that you wrote about your pretend childhood. I had a loving parent and mother who took me to the zoo and we went and visited the monkeys and we had such a great day. Maybe that didn't happen in your real life, but you can share that with your child and take your child to the zoo and go visit the monkeys instead of remembering all the bad crap that happened to you as a child.
Yes, definitely. So, Miss, can you tell us what are your short term and long term goals as a best selling author as well as entrepreneur?
So my short-term goals is to get Liberté Ladies up and running. So I can do things like we're doing today, but on a regular basis with a larger group of women on a format online and in person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big goal because I really believe that so many women out there have incredible stories to share, but they don't know how to get it out. And we have the ways and the tools to do that. And then my long-term goal is I have a science fiction medical thriller coming out in June that I'm really excited about. It's called Clothos. And so this has been a long-term project. It took me over 5 years to write the book. It is set at a particle light accelerator, which is where you can see through atoms and cells, and they are looking for the life force particle. So what do they do when they find the life force particle, and what evils could happen if that life force particle is taken from one person and then injected into another person?
Interesting. Interesting, Miss Teresa. Looking forward for that book. Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be entrepreneur as well as a best-selling author?
It takes every day. Every day is you have to have those atomic habits that are going to lead you forward. And one of the things that I really believe is that your imagination can create your reality. So if you're not an entrepreneur yet or a best-selling author yet, wake up with the mindset of what an entrepreneur or a best-selling author would do in a day. The best way to find that out is with podcasts like yours, with videos, finding out those people who you want to emulate. You don't have to recreate anything. People have done it. Have become best-selling authors from nothing. People who have become entrepreneurs from nothing. So follow their lead and learn from them and see how they succeeded with whatever industry you're interested in. It doesn't have to be literary like me or publishing, but it could be anything.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the advice, Mr. Rasa. And tell us, voice begets voice. How does finding your authentic narrative voice in writing begin to affect your voice in other areas, in conversations, at work, or setting boundaries?
When you decide who you are and write in that voice. So, for example, me, I am a best-selling author, award-winning publisher, and soon to be multimillionaire in this space. I talk like that, I act like that, and everything that I do is encompasses of the voice of an award-winning publisher, a best-selling author, and a multimillionaire in publishing. So, for example, if somebody wants to encompass that in their own voice, they have to begin talking like an award-winning publisher, a best-selling author. What would be the words that they say? What would be the events that they would attend? What kind of friends would they have? How would they carry themselves? And when you start to embody that, even though you might not be there yet, the universe has no choice except to bring that to you.
Such a powerful and empowering answer, Mr. Rasa. So, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and Book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 third season, and Ma Food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101 love letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 our fourth season. Science 101, Sex 101, third season, and My Baby Podcast, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, My Bible Verses 101.
You're
Please
busy,
listen.
Daniel.
Busy, busy
I love
indeed.
it.
Busy, Mr. Rasa. So please listen to them wherever you listen. Your podcast, The Continuous Journey, Mr. Rasa. Finding your voice, a one time discovery. Is it the voice that changes and evolves? How they encourage people to keep listening and writing as they grow into new chapters of their lives?
Yeah, your voice is going to change. I was a single mom for a while, so I had the voice of a single mom. I had the voice of raising a kid by myself. And then I was like, okay, what else do I want to be? It's great being a mom, but I want to be more than. And so when you decide what you want to be, listen to what that new person would be, what that new voice would want to say, and start listening to that and then start embodying that. Because
Mhm.
the thing is that we're inundated by all this negative data, and most of the things that we say to ourselves are negative. Oh my god, I'm too fat. Oh my god, I can't get that done. Oh my god, oh my god. We say all of this negativity to ourselves. So what I really encourage your listeners to do is to shut that tape off and bring in the narrative of the person who is succeeding, who is positive, who really is ready to just go for it, and listen to what that person has to say, because we have the opportunity to focus and to put our attention to what really matters. And if we can focus on the good stuff, the positive stuff, turn the news off, listen to meditations, podcasts that inspire us, those are actually going to help our brain fuel that new person that we want to become.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Teresa Rodriguez. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And can you please invite our listeners to support your best selling books, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so you can go to Liberté Press and visit the website. We've got the magazine that's online with just so many wonderful things that are taking place. And also, we've got the Liberté Ladies that'll be starting up in February. So come on, join the fun. We look forward to seeing you there. And thank you, Daniel.
You are most welcome. Enjoy the fun, people. Enjoy the ladies. So, one more question. Mr. Rosa, is finding your voice is more about uncovering something that already exists but is buried. It's about creating and constructing voice through practice and choice.
Totally correct. Our voice is like a seed. We plant it in the soil and we cover it up. And then so many of us want to dig it up to see if it's growing or not. The
Mhm.
best thing to do is to really get into that place of what is my voice? What do I want to say? And really work on that and let it just grow and just nurture it. Make sure that you give it a little bit of water. And when it starts sprouting out, make sure it has to get some sunshine. And that's that positive energy. And let your voice grow. You've got to always check in with yourself, because that negativity is going to come in and say, rah, rah, rah. And that's when you're like, no, I'm going to watch my flower grow. I'm going to watch my plant grow. This is where I want to be. Remember, it's about focus. And one of my favorite quotes is that the tongue is the rudder of the soul. And what that means is what we say and what is projected out of our mouth is what guides us through our lives. It directs us. So make sure that the words that you say out of your mouth and the words that you write on the paper actually support your growth and support the narrative that you want to continue.
Yes, Mr. Rosa Rodriguez, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure, Daniel. Always such a pleasure with you.
Podcast people, see you soon.